in making the few films I've done, and making a lot of mistakes because we're just inventing and exploring, I found that the trickiest thing was to shift the thought from a place where the job of a director has always been to decide for me as an audience what frame of the world I'm going to choose to show. So by choosing the frame, I'm doing my work as a director, and I'm giving you, the audience, the opportunity to see a fragment of that world and combine it with other frames so that it makes a story, and the imagination of the audience can travel through this, taken by the hand of the director through the story. In 360-degree thought, you can't do this anymore. So you have to rethink. The work of the director is very much based on the experiential dimension of the story you're offering, because a lot of people think that in VR there's no directorship, because you just plant your camera in the middle of this room, you move away and hide in a corner behind a wall and let it happen. And then the audience is actually doing the editing, because the spectator decides whether they're going to look here or they're going to look here, and they can't look everywhere. So no one is actually seeing the same story. And that's a very difficult jump to make, because you need to decide, how are you going to guide your audience viewing? Are you going to force them to view in a certain direction, either using sound or light, or there are now softwares that help you change the front, like when you move from one sequence to the next. If my front is here in the first scene, when I move to the second scene, I may decide that, and I'm looking here at the end of the first scene, I may decide that now my front for the second scene is going to be here and not here anymore, because I want the spectator to see this. So there's a whole other way of thinking the narrative space in 360-degree as an experience within which the spectator is free to watch wherever he or she wants, as opposed to where you don't have that choice in cinema. So that's the main difficulty. And then the second biggest shift is this new issue, technically speaking, of stitching, which still remains very tricky. You can't do just anything you want, like you used to do in film. For instance, close-ups are a real problem with stitching.